Oh,
Before I
yes.
get pissed
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, let me take my time on
Hey,
this.
dude. Do you know, before you even begin, though, I'd just like to say one thing about this.
Mm-hmm.
He's exercising his First Amendment rights.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree on that, yeah?
Okay.
But of course, what we're going to go into is one is not the same as the other.
Exactly. And I think that's what there's a lot of focus on. And I'll read this just real quick. Vince, whoever the fuck, posted March 1933, the Enabling Act becomes law in Germany, giving the chief executive power, enforce his own laws without checks and balances. The passing of the act marked the formal transition from democratic republican to totalitarian dictatorship. 6 months later, it was a one-party state.
By the way, telling on yourself there, but don't worry about it.
Yeah. And this was retweeted. Now, Mark Ruffalo, who plays the Hulk, or a fake ass version of him,
Cock Hulk, yeah.
Who owns Marvel? Just want to bring this up.
Let me just think. Rack my memory. Oh, it's Disney.
Oh, okay. All right. Mark Ruffalo, who works for a company owned by Disney. And he says, just for the record, history is repeating itself. Okay. So let's backtrack just a little bit, if you don't mind. Let's take a trip down memory lane real quick. Not too long ago, there was a lady that was on a show called The Mandalorian.
Never heard of it, but okay.
It was owned by, or let's say that the show brand is owned by Lucasfilm. Who owns Lucasfilm? I'm
gonna think again. I know this. It's just so happens to be Disney.
Oh, okay. So it would be fair to say that Mark Ruffalo works under the same company that also owns Lucasfilm.
Yes, that's fair.
Okay. Now, obviously, this is a tweet that references a point in time. I mean, it obviously references, you can see the symbolism is right there in the tweet. A point in time that this lady, I think her name's Gina or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I know her. Yeah.
She was a character that she played in a show owned by Disney. And she got in trouble because in a story she shared where it basically showed and referenced the same era.
Oh. Why don't you just quote Mark Ruffalo? Where she showed history repeating itself.
Well, that was quite literally what she was showing.
Yeah.
And she was highlighting and sharing this story that was basically a meme, if you will. And all it said was, hey, government turns people against one another.
Correct.
And that's how they were able to accomplish what they were able to accomplish. After that story was shared, Disney attempted to take her through a struggle session, wanting her to speak in front of a bunch of activists. 40 activists.
40 at the same time.
Quite literally a struggle session was what they wanted of her. She obviously declined. And then they came out and unprecedented.
Eric.
Yeah. Okay.
She declined to do that, but said she'd be more than happy to meet them face to face.
Yes.
And for a meal and talk.
Yes, that is true. Did offer an alternative.
Yes.
As that's important information.
Mm-hmm.
That said, they felt like her response wasn't sufficient enough. And unlike anybody else, they came out, public statement, damning her, saying that she's no longer involved. And what they pointed to was her comparing eras.
Mm-hmm.
But that era happens to be what I'm showing you right here. It's the same, quite literally the same time period. By the way, he's not the only one. In fact, during the same time, actually a little bit before, there was another co-star, actually the star
Pedro
of the
Pascal.
same damn show.
Yes, sir.
who did the same thing. Actually, it's worse because he likened half the fucking voting population in America to this symbol right here. It's pretty foul, pretty messed up. To my knowledge, he has not lost his job. And I'll ask you, as now this has been posted, this was posted a couple of days ago. Do you think Mark Ruffalo is going to lose his gigs?
I'm not a betting man anymore, but I will put everything I own on no, and I will feel very confident I would win that bet.
I doubt, you won't get felted for sure. Not with that.
No,
I think it's a safe bet.
He's safe. There's just so much irony around this that the guy from the left, and I'm not saying what my politics are, left, right, doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. This is the guy who is on the left saying that when the left got power in Germany, they turned it into a totalitarian state, which then went to World War. The guy from the left. But that's what the right's gonna do. Even though history shows time and time again, the people who claim to be from the democratic republics. Hey, there's another democratic republic. Do you know what that was? That was on Coruscant in Star Wars. You go the democratic Russia, China, Germany, Austria. Pick
Cambodia.
one. Oh yeah, you go on and on. Yeah. All the same thing. Democratic republics.
North Korea.
Yeah. And yet it's always projection, absolute projection, left, right, and center. Who's gonna have repercussions, or who has? Because there's no speculation here. Who has had repercussions? Gina did.
Yep.
Did Pedro? No. I don't think either of them should have. I think Pedro has got every right to exercise his First Amendment rights. So has Gina Carano. So has Mark Ruffalo. If all things were equal, I would be saying I don't think Mark Ruffalo should be fired for this or penalized for this whatsoever. It's his point of view. He can have it. But one is not the same as the others. When two of them have called half the American public, I'm British, of course, half the American public literal Nazis.
That's what they did. Yes.
And then they fire somebody who says, do you know what? Government turns neighbor upon neighbor. And by neighbor upon neighbor, Gina Carano was referencing that everything's become so politicized that where you vote has been weaponized to such a incredible degree. And then they proved her correct by firing her.
Yeah.
Proving her fucking point.
Yes.
So you tell me, the party that you claim to support, the party that, by the way, was the same fucking side as the party that got in 1930s Germany and did what they did, the party and the politics which resulted in the firing of Gina Carano, but the safety of you and the safety of Pedro Pascal, you want to fucking project that's the other side. The other side's going to do it. Mark Ruffalo is not a very intelligent man.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to head over to Rippaverse.com to check out our comic book company. We have books, plenty of merchandise, and even some glorious animations from Rippaverse Studios.